Hello and welcome to Apple Autos. My name is Austin and today I'm going to be walking you around the all-new 2025 Ram 1500. The new 2025 Ram features a few things that are a little bit different than the outgoing 2024 model, but there's not a whole lot of changes. There are some exterior differences between the 24 and the 25, including this front fascia here has minorly been tweaked. Around the sides, on the bottom, and the back just on the bottom appears to be a little bit different than the 24s, but overall it's quite similar. The talk of the town is what lies under the hood. For the first time in a very, very long time, a Hemi is no longer offered in the 2025 Ram. It has been replaced with this, the 3-liter inline-6 twin turbo, which they call codename Hurricane. This is the first replacement that we've seen of the Hemi in a very, very long time. It came out back in the early 2000s, and it has been a pretty legendary engine when it comes to reliability, performance, and just being a great overall motor. It has proven itself over many, many years. They have not changed much over the years, and this is the first time we're seeing its replacement. So this Hurricane has a lot to live up to. Based on looking at all the specs, it ultimately looks like this will be a better motor than the Hemi. However, the reliability aspect, it has only been out a couple of years that we've seen it in the Wagoneer, so we don't for sure know what it's going to be when it comes to reliability. However, based on previous Chrysler products or Stellantis products, and based on other manufacturers producing inline sixes, these have proven to be a very reliable engine layout. So as long as Stellantis did it right when manufacturing this motor, this could ultimately be a very good replacement of the Hemi. I do really like this Hurricane, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna hop behind the wheel and experience driving it here in a minute, and I'll take you guys along with, that way we can experience it together. However, the overall engine layout, like I just brought up, I think will be proven to be reliable. The twin turbo setup helps it get torque all the way throughout the rev range. And speaking of torque, this has more power and more torque than the outgoing Hemi models. So all of those combined does make it sound like a pretty good idea. And then on top of that, it gets better gas mileage as well. And according to what I've read, you don't need to put premium in it either. Let's start off by simply starting this thing up. It's very interesting being in so many Dodge products throughout the remainder of the years, not hearing that iconic Hemi starter. It's just different. Other than, of course, the 3.6, which is still optional in the low trims. It's just, like I said, different hearing this noise coming from a Ram 1500. Why don't you guys take a listen to it quick, actually. Just something I'm not really kind of used to, you know, not a loud, obnoxious, or cool sounding V8 out of a Mopar product. It's kind of interesting, changing it up a little bit, I guess. But let's set off and see what this thing's all about. All right, setting off in the new Ram 1500, right off the bat, just straight out of the hole, I can immediately tell how much smoother the powertrain in this Ram is versus the Hemis that it's outgoing. Like, the power delivery is extremely smooth. It just rolls. There's no aggressive jerks. There's nothing like that. Just very, very smooth. I wouldn't say so smooth to the point where it feels electric, but it's honestly not that far off of it. Now let's see how the Ram gets up out of the hole here. Wow, it's very torquey. Very, very torquey. It sounds decent. There really isn't much sound to it. There's a little bit of intake noise. There's no exhaust noise, so it's definitely different. I miss the sounds of the Hemi, that's for sure. However, now that I'm slowed back down and just cruising, I'm astonished at how smooth this powertrain is. It's smoother than the 3.5s and the F-150s. I mean, it's probably, do I dare say, the smoothest powertrain I've experienced in a full-size pickup? Pretty impressive. Let's go ahead and get on it one more time from a roll here. That torque really kicks on, wow. Very impressed about the torque and power of this motor. It definitely has some get up and go, but I just feel like it's lacking a little bit of personality in the sense where it's so smooth. To your average car enthusiast, it just, like I said, it's lacking in the personality department, where it doesn't really feel like it gives you a whole lot of feedback, or it doesn't feel super engaging as a motor by any means. However, when it does come to overall just driving it around and cruising, this thing is phenomenal. I'm very, very impressed. And let's go ahead and check and see what kind of gas mileage we're getting just cruising here. Just cruising at about 55 here. It looks like we're getting upwards of 20 miles per gallon on these flat roads. That's very impressive. Mid-20s, that's pretty good actually. I'm very impressed on that. Do not take that average into account. This is a brand new vehicle, 70 miles on it. It's done nothing but moved around from truck to parking lot and around the parking lot its whole life. So do not take that 10 miles per gallon average into account. Go ahead and accelerate again here. I can't believe how torquey and how much power this thing has. It's very impressive. Other than the powertrain sitting behind the wheel of the 2025 Ram, in reality, I don't really notice anything that jumps out at me that's different than the 2024. Everything in here is very, very familiar. It all looks pretty much the exact same. It's a very high quality interior. By no means am I saying it's not nice. I just mean it doesn't necessarily feel as refreshed as I felt Ram was stating that it was. It still feels very much so like a 2024. Don't get me wrong about the fact, however, that that engine did dramatically change this truck. It is an entirely new truck with this power plant. And as I've driven it around here a little bit, I think I can safely say that I think the Hurricane fits the Ram quite well. I know that there's a lot of negative people out there that are not supporting this powertrain, but I think that there's going to be a lot of people that come around to the fact that I think this is going to be better than the outgoing Hemis, in the sense where once we get some tunes out on the market, once we see the aftermarket, and once we see the reliability a little bit more, I think there's going to be a lot of people that come around to liking it. I just wish it had a little bit more personality, whether that means it needs a little bit more sound, whether it needs to be a little bit more aggressive, I don't know. But ultimately, I just wish that I could feel like I was a part of the truck a little bit more, if that makes sense. But I would argue that when it comes to comfort and ride quality, I would absolutely put the 1500 Ram up right against an EcoBoost or a PowerBoost F-150 now when it comes to just luxury. Like, the thing rides so nice, and this power plant is phenomenal when it comes to being a luxurious power plant, and that's why it fits the Wagoneer so well. Now that we're back from being behind the wheel of the 2025 Ram, I think it's safe to say, other than the engine that is inside of the Ram here, there's not really a purpose of getting a 25 over a 24. They did not change a whole lot. So your deciding factor on purchasing a 25 versus a 24 has to be the engine. The Hurricane is a great motor. I can see this being a fantastic engine in the future. Some other things that I really like about that motor is in the future, I could see it being more modifiable than the Hemis were for a lower cost. I can see tunes coming out that are gonna be, I mean, they're gonna turn up the boost a bit, and I'd assume make this a pretty powerful engine. Dodge has already talked about some crate engines that are gonna possibly be coming out of this Hurricane that make upwards of like 800 horsepower, if I remember correctly. They also have a high output version coming. There is going to be a lot of amazing iterations of this Hurricane engine, and this is just the start. So it is ultimately your choice. Do you think that the Hurricane is worth it over the 5.7 or the 6.4? Let me know down in the comments below, because I'm curious what you guys have to say. Ultimately, walking around the outside and hopping on the inside of the 2025 Ram, I think it's safe to say that you are not going to notice a whole lot of differences between a 24 and a 25 when it comes to anything other than the powertrain like I brought up. I just want to make that kind of clear, because I feel like I've seen a lot of posts by Dodge or Ram stating that this was the all-new 2025 Ram, and in reality it really isn't all new. It still reminds me a lot of the previous generation, and in all honesty, it just seems like a mid-cycle refresh. And I think it's a great truck. The Rams have always been great trucks. I think the Hurricane's gonna bring a lot more personality out of the truck than we've seen in quite a while, and I'm excited to see what comes out of it. So thank you guys so much for tuning into the video here at Apple Autos. I truly hope that you guys enjoyed, and let me know what you guys think of the Hurricane down in the comments below. I look forward to seeing you soon. If you guys are interested in purchasing a new 2025 Ram, be sure to check us out at Apple Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram here in Shakopee, Minnesota. I'll put a link down in the description below. Have a great rest of your day.